Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're gonna learn about the gradient tool, which is an amazing tool from Photoshop. So first let's create our composition. I like to work on A3 with 300 dpi because it's just really high resolution, but it can end up being really heavy files as well. So maybe go for a bit lower if you don't have a lot of storage. Let's get familiar with the gradient tool. It's right there in the adjustment panel. If you don't see it, you can go right to window and just make it appear. So this is how it shows. So you have a lot of preset already. A lot of the one you can see on my screen, I've added them myself. So you won't find the same in your gradient tool. So when you want to create a solid gradient type, you just have those square, which are your colors, and you can just add as many as you need and pull them out so they disappear. So now we're gonna actually exercise with this tool by using the brushes to create a nice blurry painting. It doesn't matter really the color that you're picking right now, so don't spend too much time choosing your colors as we're gonna change them right now. If you want to blur on it, completely understand, I'm your guy. One thing about the solid gradient type is when a square is going in front or behind another one, the whole balance of colors can change. So you really have to look for different possibilities that will suit your aesthetic. Now let's try out with an image that I literally find by typing image on Google. On images, gradient tool is really interesting. Here you have to do a tiny bit more work, which is to find out where are the shadows and where are the lights, just so you can add a light color for the light and a dark color for the shadow, or many colors, just so it keeps that balance of the picture. If you want to go for something completely crazy, I mean, you're free, go for it. You can always go for a very funky blend mode or not, but I mean, blend modes can really make the difference. Now let's work with shapes. So you can just create a shapes, and without creating a gradient layer, you can just select, instead of a color, a gradient. Here I'm gonna go for the preset gradient, but to be honest, most of the time on the design you'll see on Instagram, I'm really looking for the perfect color. When you turn around your shape, it's not gonna affect the gradient as the gradient is separated. The shape is like a mask. I'll show you later how to actually move around the gradient. So let's make a little friend to this dot. And now we're going to explore the noise. So noise is completely different. It's like tons of colors. You can choose the roughness. The higher the roughness, the more stripes you'll get. You can adjust the colors as you like. If you don't want any red, or if you want excessive red in your gradient, you can completely define that yourself. Also, if you find the color too vibrating, you can just restrict the colors as well and add some transparency. You know, my point is just try everything and just learn what you love. If you're not inspired, you can also randomize, which is really cool when you're lazy. I think I'm gonna go for this neon green. Okay, to be really honest with you guys, I never named my gradient before. This is just to pretend that I'm very organized, but honestly, if you do it, that's great. You can just save by pressing new and just put this anywhere you want. So, as we were saying, how to flip the gradient. You just double click on the layer and then you have this panel where you can just adjust the angle, adjust the style, and basically everything about the gradient. If you want to go for less usual style, that's common, go for it. I think we're good with the shape. We're not going to go too crazy because I want to move on to the typography, which is a bit different. So very original. Let's type gradient, obviously. And now what happened with typography is, as you cannot really choose the color to be a gradient, or I just don't know how to do it, you know, I mean, like, I don't know everything about Photoshop, but I don't think you can. So what I do is I create a shape above the gradient layer, the text layer, and this shape in this case will be a rectangle, and I'm gonna give this rectangle a fill gradient. Just pick your gradient. If you pick a preset, you can always modify it just like that. It's really simple. I'm quite happy with the colors. Let's flip this. Okay, good. So now we press Option and we go to this interline between the two layers and you get this arrow, amazing arrow, which is creating a clipping mask as soon as you press. And that's a process where the top layer is trapped into the bottom layer. You still can modify the top layer, which is pretty amazing, and the bottom layer as well, actually. Photoshop is an amazing tool. So let's just settle for this neon green and maybe create more of them just to have a filled composition. Great. Now, if you want a background be a gradient, of course you can, and that's just the exact same process. So you just create a rectangle. Instead of a fill color, you put a gradient fill. And yeah, just explore the preset. Honestly, they're really good and you can even modify them if they're not good enough. I think I'm gonna go for this. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, I think we're done, guys. Oh, we're not done. Okay. If you want to apply the noise gradient, you will see tons of lines. This could be what you're going for, but if not, you can always play with blending mode, blending option, and the opacity to have something that you like. I always save as a TIFF because I can keep my layers organized and have a file that is not as huge as a PSD. So here we are. I hope you really enjoyed the tutorial and you learned some stuff. Please let me know in the comment your thoughts, and if you want any other tutorials you're interested in, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.